Hello, hello. How are you today? I am Gab. I am the founder and creator of Gab Talks. Today, I'm going to have a brief conversation with you about motivation versus momentum. A friend of mine recently gifted this book to me, The Consistency Chain for Network Marketers by George Campbell and Jim Packard. And I have a lot of difficulty reading. I used to read all the time, but I have so many things going on in my life. Trying to get through a book is really difficult, but I could not put this book down. There was so much great information in here. And it talks a lot about, it's really based on the Pareto Principle, where 80% of the work gets done by 20% of the people, and 20% of 80% of the people only do 20% of the work. And it takes that concept, particularly in network marketing, and it flips it on its ear and says, the people that are the 80%ers that only get 20% of the work done, it's not that they don't want to, it's not that they don't know how, but they lack one really key ingredient that the 20%ers have, and that's called consistency, which is why this book is called The Consistency Chain for Network Marketing. So I'll put the link to this in the notes below so you can go get yourself a copy. So there's all kinds of really amazing nuggets in here, but the chapter that really stood out to me that I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is motivation versus momentum. Motivation holds an exalted place in our culture. Network marketing leaders are constantly asking the question, how can I motivate my distributors? Parents question, how can I motivate my kids? Coaches look for new and unique ways to motivate their teams. Very rarely does anyone ever really take the time to think about this mystical thing called motivation. Motivation is awesome. There's a bunch of people out there that are really great thought leaders and motivational coaches. And, you know, the thing is, and they talk about this in here, we go to these seminars, we go to these different events, we go to these things, we listen to things on YouTube or podcasts, and there's a lot of rah, 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 so yeah, let's do it. And we get all pumped up and jacked up and yay, let's go for it. And then when we walk away, in 24, 48 hours, the motivation kind of dies off and it's gone. We've all witnessed the super motivated person, the one who's standing on his chair chanting, I will until, the person vibrating so much they make coffee jittery, the person who is absolutely unstoppable until they stopped. What happened? Life happened. A person said no. A distributor quit. A prospect declined to join. The car broke down. The stock market had a hiccup. The promotion went to someone else. The kid ate the dog's homework. Something happened. That's pretty much the definition of life. One after another, things happen. Some good, some bad, some tragic, some exciting. Event after event occurs, each one having an impact on how we feel and our level of motivation. We're all familiar with the idea that nothing is good or bad. It is strictly our reaction that makes it so. In other words, it's not what happens to us, but how we choose to respond. This is certainly the ideal personal philosophy. This is a view of life to which we all should aspire. But we also have to concede that virtually no one is able to do this all the time. The depersonalizing of events requires tremendous mental strength and extreme consistency. That's the thing that the 80%ers that only get 20% of the work done struggle with. How do you create consistency, right? So there's a big difference between motivation and momentum. Momentum is where you get started and you do something and then you repeat it and you repeat it and you repeat it, kind of like the bicycle tire going around, or the momentum pushes it forward. So if you can take today, stop looking backwards at what you didn't do, stop trying to figure out what the heck is a week or a month or a year from now, and focus on today and pick something that you want to do today. And then tomorrow, when you get up, focus on what you want to do today and do it again. And then on the third day, you get up and you focus on today and what you want to get done today. That same thing that you want to do on repeat, until it gets to the point where that momentum, kind of like the train, chugga, 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 and it goes, right? But it has to get that momentum going. Well, motivation only takes us so far, but you have to take action and create that momentum. So one of the big cornerstones of the things that are being talked about in this book is pick one thing and do it today. And they ask you only for 3 days. Do it today. And then when you wake up the next day, do it today. And when you wake up on the third day, do it today. And then every day thereafter is the third day. And then you build something called a consistency chain, and you get yourself into momentum. Because once you get yourself into momentum and you get to the point where you stop asking, am I going to do this today? And you start asking, when am I going to do this today? Now you've created this chain of consistency of doing something every day, but you focus always only on today. And then if something comes up and you break the chain, it's very easy to get back into momentum if you only lose the chain for a day or two. And if something comes up and you're like, I don't know, it's really easy to maintain the momentum once you hit that point and stay in momentum. So a story that George talks about here in the book is how he was working out every day. He made the decision and he just was consistent, and he did it every single day, and something like 360 days, and he was sick, and he woke up and all day to get off his tush and go work out, even though he was really ill and really not feeling it. And by the evening before he went to bed, he actually got off his tush and did it. And I think in the book, it says that he made it 500 and something days before he missed a single day. Jim, who is a 20%er, but had a situation in his own personal life with his weight that he was struggling to be consistent about, did a consistency chain for weight. And he did not miss a single day for like 8 months until he had to go do something, had a small surgery with the doctor. And it was a week that the doctor said before he could do any kind of physical activity. And he said by the end of the week, he was just absolutely jonesing. Like he could not wait to get back to doing this activity that he's been doing to help him with his weight maintenance. The one area that he feels he wasn't doing very well with, even though he's a 20%er, that's an area in his life that he was an 80%er. So many of us, many of us are these 80%ers. And there's very few true 20%ers that are 20% in everything they do. We all have things. Even the people that are the most successful people out there have things where they are not a 20%er. And those are the things where they could use a little bit of this consistency chain in their lives, right? But most of us tend to lean more towards being the 80% people. We know what we need to do. We know how to do what we need to do. And we try to implement the rules and the tactics and the things that are supposed to help us be successful. Go out and buy the books to mark down the things and go and make all the lists and everything. But when it comes time to actually implement, it gets very difficult. You might do it well for a week or a month. You know, if you focus instead of looking at a long range goal or even a short range goal, and instead focus on what to do today. And then when you wake up tomorrow, you're focused on what to do today. You pick that same item and what to do today. And today is always the third day. Once you reach the third day, then you've created this chain. So again, I'm going to put the link to this book into the notes below. I strongly encourage you to get a copy of it. I'm going to pick a few more items out of this book to do little videos about and talk to you guys about, but that particular section right there, chapter 9, motivation versus momentum, I think for me was probably the most powerful chapter in this entire book. The other thing that I found really helpful and powerful was earlier in the book when they talked about and described the Pareto Principle and how it applied and how to apply it, and where they explained the stop thinking about tomorrow and stop thinking about goals, and because those are overwhelming for the rest of us, and really focus on just what can I do today. Those two principles there, if nothing else, it'd be massive in helping you with your growth. So I hope that you felt like you got a lot of value out of that. That is our Gab Talks tip for today, and we will talk to you again soon.